Hi, this is Batania with TeamGenius, and in this quick tutorial, we're going to walk through all the steps to create an assessment in TeamGenius. So first things first, from your TeamGenius dashboard, click on Create Assessment. We have two different types, either a tryout assessment or a team evaluation assessment. The main difference is with a team evaluation, you have a coach assignment option that will allow you to assign a coach to a player pool, which can be their team, and then send them an invite through TeamGenius to access just their team for evaluations in which you can track their progress. We're going to use a tryout form, which is our traditional use case in TeamGenius. Name your form, and then from there, well, you can build your own or guide yourself. We'll build our own since this is a tutorial showing you how to do so. On the home page, you can see there's 4 core areas that we need to complete to get this assessment ready to score on. We're going to go through all these steps under Setup. So first things first, let's go to scoring forms. You need to have a scoring form in place for your evaluator to score on within this assessment. So click on the Create Scoring Form button here. From there, you can title your form. You could either have a subjective or a quantitative scoring form. Subjective will allow your evaluators to select based off of a numerical scale that you set or based off of name values that you input into those criteria, whereas quantitative is more of a metric style scoring form. If you wanted to include overall comments, that will create a separate comment box from the criteria for your evaluators to provide general feedback. Once you hit save, you'll then add the criteria to this scoring form. So once you click on that button there, you will see a list of options based on your sport that we have loaded into TeamGenius, or else you can type in your own custom criteria, completely up to you. For the input type, slider scale will allow your evaluators to assign a score based off of the numerical rating that you set under the scoring form increments, whereas drop-down list and button groups allow you to actually put in name values for them to select from when scoring instead of a number value. Once you have your criteria set, hit the Save button, and then you will see that criteria within the scoring form. From there, you can add additional criteria to continue to build this out. If you needed to add another scoring form, you have that option, or you can continue to add criteria until the scoring form is complete. From there, navigate to Player Pools, and here is where you're able to create the pools that need to be evaluated. So for example, if you have tryouts and you typically assess players based off of their age group, that it will be your player pool. So if a person is within a player pool, they're only going to be rated and ranked against the other members of that pool. So you can't have multiple pools within one scoring or within assessment. You can either edit that pool if you needed to adjust the name or add an access key, or create a new one here. So an access key, if you generate this and then give that to an evaluator, that will only give them access to this specific player pool for scoring. Under the evaluation schedule, these are going to be sessions that you create for when you want your evaluators to record scores. So for example, if you have 2 days of tryouts, you could create 2 days or 2 sessions in here, and in that way they can record scores for day 1 and then day 2 separately. Once you have your session named, select the scoring forms that you want them to use, and also the player pools that are participating. An access key here will allow an evaluator to input scores for just day 1 using this scoring form, and they will be able to move between all of the player pools. That will help you to control where your evaluators are inputting scores, so there's no mistakes. You can clone that if you would like to, if it's going to be the exact same scoring forms and pools, or else you could go to create evaluation sessions at the top here to create a new one, select different pools in different forms if needed. Comment snippets. These are comments that you can add into the assessment for your evaluators to select. So we wanted to add in a comment here. I could attach that to all of the criteria or to one specifically. They'll still be able to add in their own comments, but this will give them some guidance if that's what you're looking for. User permissions will allow you to assign admins at the assessment level based off of the access levels that you see here. So player check-in only will allow somebody to just access the player check-in page and make sure that players have the right player pool assignment and also a number assignment so they are appearing in the app. If we go to manager, You can assign somebody manager access of a specific player pool, for example, and that means that they're able to see all of the results for that pool and also message that pool as well. An owner is able to manage this assessment, but if you happen to have multiple assessments, they're not able to see any of those. They're only able to manage the assessment that you've assigned them to. That includes editing the scoring form and everything that we've covered so far. You would just simply go to invite new user, type in their email address, give them the access, and hit save, and they'll receive an invite through TeamGenius. Under advanced settings, you have a few options here. You can hide player names within your assessment, which means that evaluators will only see the player number. You could also turn on mobile check-in, which is advised, which will allow you to do player check-in from your mobile phone if you have admin privileges to do so. Not all of your evaluators will be able to use this option, but anybody with admin privileges will. Profile image capture will allow your evaluators to take a profile image of the player at any point within the evaluation. Plus, those with mobile check-in access will be able to do that from the check-in within the mobile device. Player assignment shuffling, typically used in a hockey style scenario, or if you needed to move players between pools and evaluation groups over multiple days of sessions. Once you move them into another pool, their scores from that previous pool no longer carry with them. You will essentially be recording new scores for them within their new player pool assignment against the other members of that pool. And as you can see, evaluation criteria strength factor allows you to scale down a subjective score to have a lower overall value compared to the other criteria within that scoring form. Once you hit save, any of these that you set up will be saved to this specific assessment. And so, in a nutshell, that is how you will complete the steps under setup. Essentially, if we go to the home page here, we can see there's just one step remaining, and that is to add players. So stay tuned for our next series video, which is how to add players into your TeamGenius assessment.